Okay, and with that, we'll move forward into introduction. So again, this is the Crab Devil team. I'll introduce myself first. My name is Kelly Lemieux. I'm the acting secretary for Crab Devil.
I'm Mike Lemieux. I'm the COO of Crab Devil, in charge of production and logistics. And I'm also one of the founding members of LiveWorks Studios, a local design build firm.
I'm Neil Gobioff, acting CFO. I'm also president of the Gobioff Foundation, a small family foundation located here in Tampa that supports the arts in the Tampa Bay area.
I'm Jonna Rendina-Gobioff. I also am a member of the Gobioff Foundation. I'm vice president along with him. And I'm a Kraken Crab who is on the governance committee chairing that. So super excited to be here tonight. I'm passing it on.
Hi, I'm Sarah Howard, a she crab. I contribute to the branding and marketing and creative initiatives at Crab Devil. I'm also curator of public art and social practice for the Institute for Research and Art at the University of South Florida.
Hi, I'm Tracy Medulla. I am the creative director at Crab Devil. I'm also the founder and director of Tempest Projects and a full-time tenured faculty at Hillsborough Community College. I teach art, and I am the in-house devil's advocate.
Hello, I'm Tim Ogden. I'm the director of Liquid and Metal here at Crab Devil, also known as the Devil's Muse. In addition to Crab Devil, I'm the director of brewing operations for Commerce Brewing and president of Deviant Libation.
Hi, I'm Janine Awai. I'm the crab reckoner and the bookkeeper for Crab Devil. I'm also one of the co-owners of LiveWorks Studios and a working artist.
And I'm Devin Brady. I'm CEO of Crab Devil, another founder of LiveWorks Studios and a working artist myself. I'm gonna pass it back to Kelly now.
Thanks, Devin. You know, I think it's useful for us to kind of set things in motion with some foundation. You know, 2 years ago, we as a group discovered a desire for something culturally rich here in Tampa Bay, but also casual and family friendly. Not only a place for weekend local drop-ins, but also a destination for tourists that will bolster Tampa's unique and gritty art scene. You know, for months when we started out, we simply referred to this as the big idea. And over time, it evolved into the Peninsularium. And the Peninsularium is going to be totally immersive, Florida-centric and themed, an art experience that sits on a campus, which includes an independent brewery and a nonprofit gallery. And we'd like to just give you a sneak peek here. What you're seeing is a diorama, an animation of a diorama that represents the entrance experience into the Peninsularium, the Crab Devil Bait Shop. This is intentionally paying homage to the roadside attraction that's so near and dear and a true staple in old Florida culture. And that's Speedo, the Crab Devil family pet tortoise, just to give an idea of scale. And I'll turn it back over to Devin. You'll hear from him next.
Hello again. We thank you all for being here tonight. We've assembled kind of a diverse group of people here in our organization, as well as a diverse group of people out there listening tonight. A lot of you are patrons of the arts, people involved somehow in the art scene in Tampa. Some of you are working artists. A lot of you have interest in the goings on of the Tampa art scene. People who have been involved in these kinds of endeavors over the years often are involved in a sort of philanthropic respect, supporting nonprofit ventures of which we have all been a part of and continue to be a part of as well. This is kind of a new model that we are introducing to Tampa. It's been tried in some other markets with great success in some in some of the iterations, and we feel like the time is right for this kind of a project in Tampa. So this is a for-profit, attendance-based ticketed admission attraction. Basically, it runs off of the attendance of locals and tourists alike. We all know that the arts can be a kind of a vanguard for prosperity in communities. The arts are, kind of on the leading edge of change in communities. And we know that money spent on the arts has a great impact on the city as a whole. Improvements in the arts improve safety, health, well-being of the residents of cities and help to drive economic development all across the board. So, like I said, the Peninsularium is a new concept for doing just that in Tampa. It's a large-scale endeavor. There's a lot of people involved in this in a lot of different respects. So there's a lot of opportunities for jobs, growth, community development, apprenticeships, internships, all sorts of learning opportunities and employment opportunities for both working artists and other individuals in the community who can help to contribute to this effort. And from there, I'm going to pass this on to Sarah Howard.
Thank you, Devin. As Devin mentioned, this is a new platform to engage the deep pool of creative talent from the Tampa Bay region and beyond. The Peninsularium provides employment opportunities for a broad range of artists, designers, and fabricators, tapping into their creative skills that often aren't fulfilled and supported in other industries. It also creates a new venue for artists to showcase their work outside the traditional market system, providing exposure to new audiences and building connections through community. While the Tampa Bay area offers a diverse range of cultural anchors and venues, the Peninsularium has the potential to be a cultural hub, expanding understanding of how the arts contribute to society and generating new opportunities for creatives, collectors, arts enthusiasts, and the broader public. As we've seen during the challenges of the past 7 months, we turn to the arts during difficult times to find solace, inspiration, and expressions of humanity to forge new paths for our futures. Artists are visionaries, and art is a powerful agent to communicate values and aspirations, envision and navigate bold ideas that bridge cross-cultural divides, and generate awareness and imagination for a better world. To introduce you to some of the artists we're collaborating with, we'd like to invite you to settle in for this 10-minute film by local artist Barbara Rosenthal, the creators of Seder and Cigars. Crab Devil commissioned Rosenthal to produce this film about what the Peninsularium has to offer.
What we're trying to create is all of these objects that signify a relationship that is outside of our understanding, or that we're trying desperately to understand.
Florida is a land of starry skies and sunsets and boiling springs, of creatures that flit and flutter into the night. I want to capture some of that Florida magic in these patterns.
I think the bait shop is one of the more peculiar introductions to an art space that anyone will ever experience.
Azalea Camp is inspired by Central Florida's forgotten mystical spaces.
Bridging this sort of gap that is like the divide between big A art and little A art.
You know, the white cube of an art gallery versus more socially engaged necessity.
This is a way for people who don't think that art is really accessible to them to come in and engage with it.
I'm so excited to build this world.
Imagine walking through the mind of an artist, investigating, touching, listening, and feeling the space around you. Imagine a new type of architecture centered around neither form nor function, one based solely on the production of joy and wonder in the user.
Limestonia reimagines Florida as a post-Florida site where everything is underwater and the history of Florida is told through the perspective of 7 magical mermaids. The project will be an installation that takes over a shipping container.
We envision the container space on the inside to kind of be like stepping into a limestone cave.
I'm going to be creating my idealized motel room. There's this happy side of like the beachside motel or resort where you could escape, have fun with the family. But then there's also this other side to the motel as some of them shifted from that first purpose. All those things that kind of filter down to our state, that dark undercurrent. And I'm trying to have the shipping container motel room embody both of those elements.
I am making a row of commercial dryers like you would see in a roadside open-air laundromat. They'll be spinning big 20-inch chrome rims perpetually inside of them.
A lot of what Azalea Camp is about, making the connection between like the earth and how that is a sacred entity and how that connects to the way that we live our lives as humans and how we interact with the earth and how that can be a very sacred divine experience.
That dense Florida landscape where you're maybe walking down a dirt path and clearly people have been there because they're leaving little graffitis and things. So it's this intersection of the natural and the man-made that makes you feel a sense of like, there's magic here.
For the Peninsularium, I'm engaging with the Florida landscape, but in this case, an extinct one. Huge areas of Florida used to be covered in bamboo, but cattle grazing and farming destroyed 98% of it. So in my installation, you're basically experiencing this kind of dense, dead forest of bamboo. It's this very peaceful, tranquil experience, but at the same time, you also experience these very dramatic shifts in space and scale. And it's essentially a giant wind chime that you can kind of play as you walk through it. So there'll be this really awesome sound element as well.
It's a research lab set up by skunk apes to study manatees. Every participant is walking in as kind of an unexpected detective walking into this room that is a lab that maybe they weren't thinking they would enter, and then they have to discover what the relationship is between the skunk apes and the manatees. And what we'd really like to communicate through these objects, that there is a deep appreciation and love, almost the purest love between these two groups.
Imagine being joyfully lost in such a space, not knowing what's around the next bend or how long this experience will last.
It's going to be a whole room of moving lights. The walls move, the floors move, the ceiling moves, and all of its movements will be in response to your movements. It might make you want to dance openly to give you justification to act like a kid, which you still might need even if you are a kid.
I've been given the opportunity to take my initial concept, which is an interactive large-scale kaleidoscope, and make it even bigger. We're thinking about 30 to 40 feet long this kaleidoscope is going to be. And I can incorporate other artists and other elements into it. It's an interactive piece, so when you're on one end of it, you're fueling what people are seeing on the other end. This kind of gives you an idea what you're going to be seeing. We're going to be making three that I know of so far, and then multiple ones throughout it too. So like you'll be able to find these things like hidden throughout the exhibit. Around that corner, you never know what you're going to see.
I started this project in 2011. I purchased a short school bus in April of that year, and with tremendous assistance from several artists, we transformed it from a school bus to a mobile station of inspiration. I am excited to give the vehicle a new home and a new focus so that it can continue to be a space that shares book culture. There's such a rich wealth of material in Florida's literary history. There's a little poem in there.
Imagine the Peninsularium Cooler than a museum, smarter than a theme park, and weirder than a carnival, the Peninsularium is a multi-year, multi-artist, multi-million-dollar effort to provide Tampa with its first and only permanent immersive arts installation experience. Drawing on Tampa's history as a port city, center of maritime commerce, and tourist destination, the Peninsularium sits on Florida's historic Highway 41 and is constructed from an assemblage of repurposed shipping containers harkening back to the traveling circuses of the early 1900s. A family-friendly cabinet of curiosities ripe with kitsch, bizarre history, and fantastical lore showcasing Florida at its most weird and wild. Visitors enter through a portal in time in the guise of a once typical roadside attraction, an old-school bait and tackle shop.
The difference between a real old-school bait shop and our bait shop is that ours is going to be on the more curious side, with a lot of surprises, a lot of bridges between the real and the unreal, and the seen and the unseen, and it will be a gateway into the Peninsularium.
The Peninsularium is the wild brainchild of Crab Devil LLC, a Tampa-based multimedia arts collective consisting of artists, designers, curators, musicians, writers, programmers, brewers, thinkers, and makers.
We will house the Peninsularium, but we will also house Tempest Projects, and we will also house Deviant Libations, which will give us a really interesting cross-culture. We'll have art viewers there, we will have beer aficionados, and hopefully we will also just have the Tampa curious coming to see what we have to offer.
I've been a resident of Tampa my whole life. I've always been kind of a booster for the city and trying to convince people that we can do great things here. I wanted it to be Tampa-based, I wanted it to be Florida-centric, and I wanted to draw on kind of the history and the culture of the area.
The art scene in Tampa has so much potential, and for as long as I've been in Tampa, I felt like we were right on the verge of having this really cohesive and diverse art scene.
Museums and galleries, because we are in a capitalist world, because we are in these spaces, there's only enough spots for a few people of any identity. And unfortunately, they've been geared towards particular identities over others. And just now, that as things are being pushed back, that is opening up. My hopes are with Peninsularium that it does that and goes kind of beyond it.
We thrive as artists in situations where we get to do what we love with people who also love to do that.
We are artists and creatives.
This is what we are good at.
This is what we're good at.
This is what we're good at.
This is what we're good at. And this is what we want to continue being able to do.
We feel strongly that Tampa has never really been given its due as a place with a unique history and culture.
We would like to use this experience as a way to heighten the profile of the city.
Its complex culture and unique inhabitants.
We want you to be a part of this.
We strive for an architecture of joy, and if you feel the same way, we ask that you please join us.
It's all art, so it's good.
Cool.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the film. We really had a great time working with Barbara. She is a great keeper of Tampa history and lore herself, and kind of a treasure trove of information about this place. So it was a real pleasure getting to work with her. So talking about this project in the larger sense, the experiences like the Peninsularium, what Crab Devil is putting together here, are situated in what has come to be known as the experience economy. And the experience economy is one of the fastest growing segments of our economy right now. without theme parks, which of course would be the largest part of the experience economy, even without theme parks, the experience economy is considered to be a $9.7 billion industry. It's one of the, like I said, one of the fastest growing segments. And some of these projects like Meow Wolf in Santa Fe or Sleep No More in New York, Kusama's Infinity Rooms, things like that have been setting attendance records in museums and in for-profit ventures all over the country for the last 5 or 6 years now. So this is definitely a trend that's taking off. Participants are looking for experiences that are a little bit deeper, a little bit more meaningful, things that they can engage in with their entire family and really create memories to last a lifetime. So that brings us to Tampa and what makes Tampa the place to do that. And so Janine's going to talk a little bit about that with you.
Hi, everyone. You might ask, why is Tampa a prime market for an immersive experience? Well, we have a strong tourist economy. Approximately 23 million tourists visit Tampa every year. Of these, 7% visit Busch Gardens, 200,000 visit Glacier Children's Museum, Tampa Bay History Center, and the Museum of Science and Industry each. 78% of cultural visitors to Tampa indicate that they come specifically for arts-related events. Tourists saturate the local market in greater concentrations in a shorter period of time than residents do. Another influence on the market is the demand for family-friendly experiences. Tampa is a growing city with an estimated population of 2.8 million residents. We're in the top 10 fastest growing cities in the US. Young families make up a significant percentage of that number, with more moving here every day because Tampa is just a good place to raise a family. Families are constantly looking for meaningful ways to spend time together, especially multi-generational recreation. As parents of a 12-year-old, Devin and I have experienced that quandary of finding new and interesting ways for us to spend time together doing something we can all enjoy equally. The options are limited. What the Peninsularium offers is unique. It ticks all the boxes as an Instagrammable moment. It brings the focus on local art, history, and culture in a manner reminiscent of old roadside attractions, which is all about approachability. There's no single establishment in Tampa that combines art and entertainment in an all-inclusive package that can appeal to young children, millennials, parents, and grandparents to deliver a truly authentic experience. That's what the experience economy is all about. And Devin?
Yes. So how do we go about implementing all of those ideas into something that we can actually get off the ground here? Crab Devil, from its birth, has been a series of partnerships. Everybody involved here has worked together in some capacity on a variety of projects in varieties of assemblages over the last 25 or 30 years in different ways. And we have always been interested in collaborative and community-based projects, from our days with Experimental Skeleton or Five Art or Titanic Anatomy or any of these collectives going back through the years in Tampa. We've been involved in those sort of collaborative efforts. So we're looking to combine those talents into new revenue streams and into ways that we can create efficiency in our process. Basically, we're pretty much a one-stop shop at this point in terms of the creative design and fabrication of things. We've got about 7,000 square feet of fabrication facilities available to us, encompassing everything from wood, metalworking, concrete casting, and digital manufacturing, CNC type of production available to us. And through our experience in arts fabrication and in LiveWork Studios, we've got projects all over the city of Tampa. You've probably laid your hands on our work at some point or another. So then it comes to assembling a team to do that outside of the 9 of us that are here together, and how we go about doing that. One of our stated objectives is to not just be a diverse organization, but what we're calling a radically inclusive organization. So radically inclusive means not only are you accepting and tolerant of people of different backgrounds and viewpoints and ethnicities and genders and what have you, but that you actively seek engagement from those communities that have been marginalized in the past. And so you go out and find people that can participate and explain to them why this would be a project that they should be involved in. Doing that makes it better for everybody. It increases the diversity of our operation, which is just the right thing to do, but it also increases the quality of the product that we put out there. The more voices and the more viewpoints that we have in a project like this, the better and stronger it's going to be. And lastly, we have a strong focus on learning and training and apprenticeships. So one of our goals here is to bring these skills out into the community, use this as a way to teach youth about careers in the arts, skills that they can adapt towards careers in the arts, and teach some of these skills that we've gained over our last 35 years of doing this stuff ourselves. So Kelly's going to tell you a little bit more about the experience and community impact of this type of organization.
Thanks, Devin. So, I think it's natural for us to think about the Peninsularium and automatically think about the guest. We have the guest experience in mind, the end user in mind, but we want to go beyond that, and we want to take the experience past the guest and really reach out to the community, and then also foster a work family that's just as family centric as we want the Peninsularium to be. So really family focused work culture as well for our teams that we end up building. And then when we look outwards toward the community, we really strive to lift the economic health with side by side a very conscious effort of social responsibility and a communal spirit. So Tracy's up next, and she's going to answer the question, why us?
You're muted, Tracy.
It always happens to me. Thank you, Kelly. I am going to try and answer the question of why us. As thinkers and doers, Crab Devil is a productive family of choice that gets things done. As Devin mentioned earlier, some of us have had lifelong relationships. Over the last 25 to 30 years, we have collectively had our hands in many stellar projects, such as Experimental Skeleton, 5 Art, The Music Box, Parking Day, Echo Quilt, Kite Flyer Studios, The Heights Studio and Gallery Tour, Kunsthaus Collective, Pledges of Allegiance, The Sponge Exchange, and For Freedom's 50 State Initiative. We are a collective of makers with strong bonds that work on a foundation of trust and mutual respect for one another with deep roots in Tampa.
Thanks, Tracy. I'm going to kind of carry that on a little bit and bring this slide of our little illustrations back up. You've gotten a feel of who we are, but I really want to point out some of the legacy partnerships that have been built over the decades between the folks that you've met here tonight. Tracy has run Tempest projects for 11 years. She's also a tenured full-time art faculty at HCC. As you've heard, Mike, Jen, and Devin, they formed LiveWork in 2011, but their collaborations precede LiveWork, and they've worked together in many different capacities before that. The Govioff has supported the arts for near 13 years here in the Tampa Bay area. Sarah Howard, who you've heard from, her contributions in the art community started in college, and she's built her career ever since establishing herself as one of the leading contemporary arts curators. She specializes in public art and social justice works. And Tim, of course, a well-known craft brewer. He was part of the groundbreaking craft brewing scene here in Tampa, starting out with Cigar City. He's also collaborated with Tampa Bay Brewing Company. I mean, some real Tampa staples. He's now the director of Brewing Commerce, and he served as an officer on the Florida Brewers Guild. He's also a local musician. So we really just want to reiterate, again, the cohesiveness that's been built over, 20 plus, almost 30 years between the group here. So, if there's anybody who can pull this thing off, it's the people that you've met here tonight. And, Creative Loafing, they think we're pretty cool too. About a week and a half ago, we were awarded with their badge of Best Local Art Collective. And with this and other instances of publicity, we're really picking up momentum. So I want to talk a little bit more about the principles that will be guiding us as we build this experience. Here, the Crab Devil Creed, commonly adjacent to a mission, vision, and values. So I'll walk through a couple of these and just give some buzzwords that further illustrate what we're trying to achieve. So first off, we want to promote industrious activism. And what this means is we intend to be outspoken. We believe in the power of activism. We want to shine the light and create awareness where the light needs to shine. We want to build the community that we all want to be a part of and that we want to see. We want to act for the good of humans. Again, you've heard us use the word inclusive several times throughout tonight's presentation. We just can't reiterate that enough. We want to center around the love that we've cultivated and again, this family-centric atmosphere and bringing people together and creating a space to make. We want to cultivate radical approachability. We want to shed egos. We truly want to be advocates, continue to be advocates of the arts and shepherd the arts. We want to remain approachable and accessible. And of course, throughout the Peninsularium, we want to spark wonder. We want to make sure it's fun and weird, just as weird as the Florida Man. We want to create childlike wonder. I think that you heard that mentioned during the video. And like we've said, something new and exciting for Tampa Bay. And finally, we want to dare to get through this together and continue to collaborate and co-mingle our influences and not just focus on one thing or one experience and make it a truly interactive endeavor. So Tracy, I'll pass it to you again, and you can talk a little bit more about collaboration.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, we will be collaborating very, very closely with Tempest Projects and Deviant Libation. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tempest. Tempest Projects was established in 2009. It's a nonprofit arts organization that functions primarily as an exhibition space, promoting artists working in all media. Previously located in Seminole Heights, Tempest Projects contributed greatly to the district's emergence as a unique local destination. Tempest's relocation to the Crab Devil campus creates a critical bridge between these two organizations that allows for the identification and nurturing of a talented pool of artists. Due to the diverse opportunities available through Tempest's residency program, artists can be invited to Tampa to show traditional works in a gallery setting, while also collaborating with artists and fabricators that Crab Devil employs to produce immersive environments of their own design. These immersive environments will live on as part of the Peninsularium installation and will allow these works to have a lasting impact on Tampa and its culture. I think that's about it for that. Tim, would you please share with our guests ways that Deviant will be collaborating with Crab Devil?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tracy. At Deviant Libation, collaboration is a core value. Drink and the devil has done for the rest is just the beginning. We aim to quench more than simple thirst. We have a strong affinity for non-traditional collaboration. I've personally had a soft spot for mixed media, non-traditional collaborations since working with the Skate Park of Tampa to create their 20th anniversary brew in 2013. Since then, I've worked with bands from California to Boston to celebrate their music, gaining a Creative Loafing Best of the Bay Award for Best Musical Beers in 2018 for a series of collaborations with 5 local bands, netting 6 collaboration beers and a raging rock show, all called Friends Fest. Working with artists to create beverages that tell a liquid story accompanying their art is the type of devil-may-care shenanigans that I live for, and envision bottling the occasional tribute, displaying their work on the label. We seek to fuel creativity and inspiration as much as we draw from it. At the end of the day, DL is a playground for creatives who find ourselves in beverage production. We look forward to filling your cups. Now let's hear from Crab Devil COO, Mike Lemieux.
Thanks, Tim. The location of the Peninsularium is an important asset to the project. It's set on a 2-acre parcel occupying an entire city block. It is situated smack dab between Seminole Heights and Ybor City. It is one exit north of downtown with easy access from 275. When complete, it will be visible from the highway. What we've been working on for about 2 years can be divided into 2 categories: the physical structure and the creative content. On the structural side, we have been locating and purchasing a property, which we just recently closed on, and working with well-known local architects to develop the user experience. We have construction documents submitted to the City of Tampa, and phase 1 is set to break ground. That will include the site work and the building that houses Deviant, Tempest, and the bait shop. That's set to open in mid-2021. Phase 2 will include the 27 shipping containers that house the Peninsularium, and that's set to open in late 2021. To fill us in on the creative side of the equation, here's Tracy.
Thank you, Mike. In November of 2019, Crab Devil introduced its creative mission to some of the best and brightest artists in our arsenal of talent by launching its first official request for proposals. After reviewing dozens of artist proposals, Crab Devil selected 11 designs for our first round of immersive containers to commission and build with these skillful artists, several of which you saw featured in Barbara Rosenthal's film, highlighting these local and national artists, all having strong creative ties to Tampa. Early this spring, Crab Devil led a cigar box diorama relief project to engage working artists with a creative project and also providing them with stipends during the COVID-19 pandemic. These dioramas will be featured throughout the Peninsularium when we open. In June, we conducted an open call for submissions for our Cabinet of Curiosities, leading to the purchase of 23 works of art and several commissioned projects to start our Florida-themed Wunderkammer. This collection of curiosities will be located in a common hallway as guests enter the building. And most recently, Crab Devil partnered with Tempest Projects to commission a 40-foot Harriet Tubman $20 bill mural from Ilsol and New Roots Art Collective, which will be unveiled on site at Crab Devil on Saturday, October 24th. So please mark your calendars because you're all invited. Between now and 2021, when we open our doors to the public, Crab Devil will hold a second round of request for proposals that will double our number of immersive art installations at the Peninsularium. And we will further build partnerships to continue to collaborate in the community and bring you some of the best creative programming in the Tampa Bay area. Now, if you could turn your attention to our CFO, Neil Gobioff, he will share with you our anticipated growth for our first 7 years.
Thank you, Tracy. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this graph, and what it shows is our, as Tracy said, it's our projected attendance that we're expecting. And we're basing these numbers off of conservative adjustments to similar attractions in much smaller markets. We took their numbers, we looked at what they did, and then we shrank them considerably to be very conservative with where we thought we could be. And if you look at this compared to the numbers that Jan was talking about earlier in the presentation, you know, we're well in line to, I think, be able to achieve this. And alongside this, with a starting adult ticket price of $20, we are poised to have a significant economic impact in the region. If we look at the Americans for the Arts, Arts and Economic Prosperity Calculator, the estimated impact by 2027 is over $5 million. Now, our overall budget for the project is $2.5 million, with phase one of that is being focused on the building, where we plan to do about $600,000 worth of improvements on the building that's on the property, and about $900,000 in site work to the property. That's all outside the building and visible to the neighborhood and from the street. The phase two, where we install the Peninsularium, will be about another $900,000, with half of that going just to the artists. And with that, I will send it back to Kelly to wrap us up.
Thanks, Neil. So everyone, we are nearing the end of our official presentation. We really hope that you've enjoyed learning about our big idea. We hope that you join us and follow along as we achieve to create something cooler than a museum, smarter than a theme park, and definitely weirder than a carnival. So with that, I'll kick it over to Sarah. Sarah, if there are any questions in the chat, let's tackle those first, and then we can open it up. And please feel free to deploy your webcam when you ask a question. We'd love to see you.